I saved each month 111 hours, which meant I saved 28 hours a week. 28 hours a week. It's 3 full working days. So that is the only way I have the spaciousness to have a second business.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Second Society podcast. I know it's been a little bit of time since the last episode. I will be honest, I have not been as disciplined as I want, but I did just have a baby boy several weeks ago, as well as wedding season has been very busy. So I'm sorry about that, but we are back in and we're diving in harder, deeper than ever with a special guest that I have on today, Sara Monika, who is a wedding photographer based in Canada, Toronto. Apparently I'm saying that wrong. I think it's Toronto. Toronto is how they say it. But not only that, she's a wedding photographer, but she also does outsourcing and she teaches an entire course on it. I brought her on because outsourcing has been a really big pain point for me. I've had a lot of trouble with it and wanted to just get her perspective on it. And she kind of just broke off some mindsets that I had around outsourcing. And I think a lot of us, have this fear or mindset belief that outsourcing just takes a lot and nobody can really do it the way that I want it to be done. And so I'm excited to kind of dive into this podcast. I know it helped me out a lot and I think it's going to help you out. So without further ado, let's dive into this week's podcast. Sara, thank you so much for coming to the show. How are you doing this morning?
So good. I love that we just came off my podcast. So I really feel like I'm in flow now with you, which is nice. Because usually
I actually already know how you're feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
I already do. Because I just spoke with you for an hour. For those who don't know, we already did a podcast on her podcast. And it was awesome.
Yeah, that's the best way to start it.
It was a good time. And today on this show, we are going to talk all things outsourcing. Because Sara is an expertise at outsourcing, and we're excited to kind of dive in. So Sara, why don't you give us just a little intro about who you are, what you do, share us just your adventures in the wedding world and outsourcing.
Yeah, of course. So in like the most brief way possible, I've been a photographer for 13 years now, and I specialize in photographing weddings for free-spirited and adventurous couples. That way, I can be myself fully. They have permission to be themselves. It's just like such a natural way that we can, connect together, and it's just so much fun. And I shoot more of like a documentary storytelling style. And I've also been teaching other photographers and guiding them for about, I think it's been 6-7 years now. And it all started because 9 years ago, I found myself working 12 to 15-hour days, constantly just at my freaking computer. And I'm like, what the heck is this about? Didn't I start my photography business to have freedom, to do what I want when I want, and to actually take more photos? But instead, I was just like sitting at a computer, clicking a freaking mouse over and over and over again, doing all the things. And I decided, and that's when I was only shooting 15 weddings a year, making like $69K in revenue. I'm like, how does this making sense? How am I supposed to actually make better money when I'm actually tapped out and maximized with my time? It doesn't make sense. So I decided to start getting support with my editing and outsourcing my editing. And in just 1 year, I was able to double my revenue to $135,000 and cut my working time by 50% at my computer. So it was a huge game changer, and I was still figuring it out. I was still kind of like, it still wasn't a perfected system. So over time, now that I have 9 years experience, I've really iterated my smart outsourcing workflows. I've really learned how to, hire the right person, how to hire within budget for all different phases of business that you're in. And so as I was connecting with other photographers in the industry, I was just like, it was breaking my heart hearing how overworked and burnt out they were. And on top of that, underpaid, because just like me before, they were grinding, but like not making as much money as they needed. So here I was with a solution that was like working so well for me. And I decided to create a program out of it, which is called Outsourcing Made Easy. So now I specialize with helping photographers successfully outsource in their business and essentially help them save 15 to 40 hours a week so that they can spend more time in their zones of joy, zone of genius, and really live an abundant lifestyle, not just financially, but also with their energy and their relationships, their well being. So that's a little overview of my experience and what I specialize in.
That's so cool. I love that. And I think, I personally have gone through the whole outsourcing thing and haven't really figured it out. And you kind of answered my question before we hopped on this podcast. I was like, why do I need to go through a course and learn how to outsource instead of just going and finding the outsourcing? Well,
Mhm.
because I've had problems with
Yeah.
outsourcing.
Yep.
And so I need to, I guess, understand on a deeper level of, how to smart outsource your work and all the tasks that you have to do. And so let's
Yeah.
kind of dive into that. Like in the beginning, you said the number one thing that you outsource was editing.
Mhm.
But what if I absolutely love editing?
Yeah.
And that's where I find a lot of creative freedom, but it does take a lot of my time. And so I kind of want to outsource it, but I feel like that's my bread and butter. I feel like that's why couples hire me. So kind of dive into that and how that it's affected your business.
Oh, I love that. And you're not alone, Jimmy. Outsourcing, if we don't know how to effectively outsource, because we were never taught it in school, we were never like taught, hey, this is how you like give feedback or like assign people something, or how do you create this system? Like, if we've never done it before, we're going to be like a little awkward with it. And I've been through so many times of it not working for me, of me feeling so frustrated, of like, I remember initially edits coming back to me and I was spending like $300, for example, on like wedding edits. And I would just get it back and be like, this is not even close. And then I would try my best to like give feedback, but I didn't know how to do it. No one taught me the skill. So I was just like throwing spaghetti at a wall, hoping it'll stick. And there was one time I had like a huge breakdown. I just wanted to like throw my keyboard across the room because I'm like, I'm spending my time fixing everything that I'm spending my money on getting support with, right? But in that moment, I realized, because this was my third editor that I've already had tried in like a year and a half, and I realized, wait a second, what's the common denominator here? And I'm like, oh, it's me. Like I'm the common denominator. Like, is it really true that no one can actually do it as well as I can, that no editors out there know what they're doing? And I realized that I was pointing the finger at them. But then when we point the finger at someone else, there's three pointing right back at us. And it's like the perfect metaphor of like, okay, where do I need to take responsibility? And is there something I need to do better? Is there a skill that I need to learn? Is there a different workflow I need to have in place? So I feel your pain, and I've been through so much of that. But once you have the recipe and you know how to do it, it could actually work for you, right? And
Yeah.
I think, what was your question? Because I wanted to, I had like the perfect like tie-in into that.
I think basically you kind of answered it. It was just like this false reality that like you believe that you're the most creative and
I
you
remember
love
your
doing
question
it.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I remember because you said, Sarah, what if I love editing? That's what it was.
Mhm.
Yeah. So something that is at the like foundation and the core of my program of how I teach photographers how to outsource is that you get to keep what you love, what excites you, what you're passionate about, and you get support with the rest, with the tasks that you procrastinate, that drain your energy, that bore you, right? Because I
Mhm.
truly believe that the only way for us to sustainably continue to grow is to stay excited about our businesses. And I mean, I found myself at a place where I used to love culling, for example. I used to love culling weddings. Um, and then there came a time where I was just like, why am I like procrastinating this? Why am I just like not excited to sit down on the computer and do this? Like I used to love this. And I essentially realized that I think it was just my body and my soul telling me that I've gotten a promotion. Maybe I'm just ready for different things. And like, just like we liked, to eat a certain food when we were 15, maybe we don't like eating the same food now, right? So that can totally evolve. But if, those of you listening are at a place where you're like, okay, yeah, I hear all the time, I'm super overworked, like, but I don't want to let go of my editing because I love it. Amazing. Like, keep that part and then get a virtual assistant, for example, to help you with things like like culling, slideshow creation, admin tasks, album design. Like there's so many facets that you can save time with a virtual assistant. And it's all about knowing how to magnetically hire the right person. There's another thing that comes up though, because a lot of photographers and videographers as well, they tell me they're like, okay, I love editing. And so I have this question for you, Jimmy. I'm just curious. Do you love every single part of the editing process or just certain parts of the editing process?
Probably certain.
Okay.
Probably
And
certain.
what would those be?
I love color grading and I hate it at the same time because it takes so much time and it's so tedious.
Mm-hmm.
But I do love the effects that I get from it. I feel like I'm pretty decent at it.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, Editing wise, I think it is fun to piece together stories, but again,
Mhm.
it is tedious and it takes time, and so I don't want to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's the
So
thing.
there's this,
Okay. Oh, yeah.
yep.
Keep going. Keep going. Yeah.
No, it was just there's always this tug and pull, and I think it
Mhm.
depends from wedding to wedding, right? And I
Yeah.
think that could be the case for a lot of photographers too. Is like I want to be more heavily invested in certain weddings and in certain stories that light me up, and then some other weddings might be just more run of the mill,
Yeah.
maybe regular weddings that you're not excited to dive into as much.
Totally, totally. I feel the same way too, and I know so many other photographers feel that way too. And so the solution for that essentially is I don't know where, like, I also had this like all or nothing mentality of like, if I'm going to outsource my editing, that means I have to let go of the whole catalog or the whole thing, and someone else is going to be touching it and have control over it. And I don't know where that came from, that belief. But when I realized, wait a second, I can actually edit what I want to edit from each wedding or each session. So let's say it's like 75 photos or 100, and I can edit those and enjoy that creative process. And then when I hit that point of like, okay, I don't want to sit here anymore doing this because I got the joy I already wanted out of it. Now I'm
Yeah.
over it. That's when you can get the support and outsource the rest. So
Mm,
there's so many different ways that you can customize your smart outsourcing workflows. And the whole point of it is that they're customized to you because I never want to give someone like a one size fits all thing because we're all different artists, we're all different business owners, we all have different interests and all of that. So you get to literally keep the parts that you enjoy. So, for example, Jimmy, maybe you have like a certain formula of how you color grade and the exact final look you want things to look at. And maybe that's something that you outsource. And maybe if you do some pre-edits for your editor initially for each wedding, that will satiate that like creative part of you that you enjoy doing because you're like, oh, I finally get to work on this. I'll color grade a little bit and then they can do the rest, right? And then
mm,
maybe you get to keep the storytelling editing, or maybe you have a formula of maybe getting the storytelling video to a point where it's like a like a high level edit, and then maybe you can scale it down, right? So there's so many different solutions. We just have to have that problem solving hat on and understand that whatever result that you want in your business, that essentially means like I wish someone could do this part for me. If you wish it, that means it's not meant for you anymore and it means it's possible.
wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's a big point right there, and I think that's speaking to me in the sense that I think we obviously get into wedding photography most of the time. You get into it because you love it,
Hmm.
right? And you love everything about it, and then you get into it, and then we come to outsourcing. And you know what I hate about outsourcing is trying to teach somebody else how to do what I do best. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? There's that huge block or ceiling that you have to kind of push through and be like, okay, I
Hmm.
got to put on my teaching hat now. Uh,
Hmm.
Basically, teaching somebody who knows nothing of my work and how I do it, and start from the beginning and write it out and create systems. And
Yeah.
so, can you speak into that a little bit? Like, how do you run that in your business? Is there an easy formula for how to like I guess draw up the words or how to teach somebody to do what you
Hmm.
do in this like high level of process. Like for us, it would be wedding films, right? Like creating
Hmm.
story driven films is not something I can like easily put into an hour like Loom video for someone, right?
Right.
So like what are the processes that you're doing and then like how long does it take you to teach somebody new to do the steps that you're outsourcing?
Okay. So, firstly, I have to touch on the mindset of, oh, but I hate putting on my teaching hat and then going through and training someone on something, right?
Mhm.
So this is a choice point for all of us in these moments. We literally have two paths in front of us where like I'm either going to keep doing what I'm doing and keep doing everything myself in my business, or I'm going to take a new path that feels uncomfortable, that might feel annoying. Like, what? I have to train someone? Is that going to take more of my time? Are they even going to get it? Like all these fears, I'm going to waste money, right?
Yeah.
We have the option of that path, right? So the choice point really is, let's put on, instead of like the that like fear hat, let's take that off and put on our long-term thinking hat. Because which pain do we rather feel for the
Mhm.
long term, long game? Because that's what we're in our lives for the long game. We have dreams, we have goals, we want to move towards those. So first let's get clear on actually what is the lifestyle that we want, because if we don't know where we're going, how are we going to know how to reverse engineer it? Like if a plane doesn't know exactly the city it's going to fly to, and the degrees are even, it's 1 degree off, it's going to land in a whole nother different city, right? So first
Right.
we need to understand, okay, what is the lifestyle that I'm intentionally creating every single day with my decisions on what I'm going to spend my time on? And so if if you can't see yourself sustainably continuing to do what you do, day in, day out, like I was 12 to 15-hour days sitting at the computer, then it's
Yeah.
like, would I rather keep the pain of me sitting at this computer for the rest of my career doing these tasks over and over and over again? Or would I rather experience the pain of getting a little uncomfortable, training someone, like learning essentially how to train someone effectively, and then following through with that so that I can save 70% of my time? Because that's where I've gotten my systems to. Like what
Mhm.
used to take me, let's say 100% of my time to work on everything in the business, I now work on everything gets done, but I'm only spending 30% of my time on those things. And that's how I'm able to have a full-time thriving photography business, but also a thriving education business. I could not have done both, and I feel like I would have stagnated in my like self-actualization, because I would have this passion of teaching and sharing, and I wouldn't have time to do it or energy. Or
Right.
I don't have the time and energy to take a Friday off with my kid because I have to sit at the computer editing. It's like that I rather experience the shorter amount of time it takes to train someone to have like an exponential amount of my time back over the long term. So that's a little perspective shift that I know I needed at some point and I wanted to share. And then with regards to like the how of like, okay, so what are like the high level like hows of making sure that this actually works for us as photographers, as videographers? And so I have a 3-part framework, which is called the Outsourcing Made Easy method. And it's essentially, it has 3 ingredients that if you're missing just one of them, the whole system falls apart. And that's when we end up feeling not happy with the results, really being like, yeah, no one can do it as well as I can. Like, that's when things fall apart. So, the 3 ingredients are making sure that we know how to have magnetic hiring in place, and then smart outsourcing workflows, and then effective communication. So, for example, if we are missing magnetic hiring, that means we have effective communication in place. We know how to like give feedback and stuff. We have our workflows set up, but we don't have the right person supporting us, and we stay frustrated in, why aren't they getting it? Why aren't they getting it? Or why are they just like half in, half out? Because if we don't have the right person that's like passionate enough to help us, that is teachable, that is detail oriented, the whole system breaks.
Right.
And then, for example, if we're missing, if we have magnetic hiring, we know who to hire and how, and we have effective communication, but we don't have smart outsourcing workflows, the whole system, it feels very like reactive. Like, okay, sometimes I will outsource this session, sometimes I won't. And hey, can you just respond to those emails? But then they're like, but how? And like, we don't have a system. Like, it just feels so chaotic that essentially it feels very inefficient. And even if you have the right person, they're not going to be excited enough to stay because it's so chaotic, not organized, and they don't want to be stressed out in their role, so they could leave, right? And then
Right.
lastly, if we have magnetic hiring in place and smart outsourcing workflows, but we're missing understanding how to effectively communicate and give feedback, then you have like, it'll work in the beginning and you'll be like, oh my God, it's all like, this is it. This is happening. I'm good. And then like over time, it's like something just drops. Either you drop the ball or the other person drops the ball, and the person can't improve or become better.
Mhm.
And as you evolve, you won't know how to express the evolution that these different tasks are going through, or that how your editing is evolving, and they won't get it. And then the person that was the right fit won't know how to evolve because you don't know how to communicate it. So essentially, those are like, from my 9 years of experience, it's like I've come to a point where it's just, I'm so proud to say that I've helped over 180 photographers with this. I've done this for years and years, and I've been
Wow.
able to create this framework.
So basically, you have a framework or systems for each part of outsourcing. What kind of things are you outsourcing currently right
Yeah.
now in your business?
Yeah. So I'm outsourcing. So I'm just going to focus on my photography business, because then my
Yep.
education business is a whole separate thing. I don't want to make it
Okay.
confusing. So
Yep.
yeah, my editing, my photo editing, my culling, my slideshows for clients that I do as a surprise, um, album design, like Instagram carousels. Like if I just have a system of, they know which photos to choose, so that I get a carousel that I'm like happy with and I'm able to post it. It's just so much more expedited. And then there was also something else that was, oh yeah, for example, like blogging. Let's say I, need a really strong SEO uh, post written for SEO purposes. I
Hmm.
hire a content writer, and then my virtual assistant takes the writing, takes images, adds the alt text. You know, that like just that clicking work that we don't want to be doing on our computer, like uploading all the images to Squarespace, linking
Yes.
everything. Like, oh my gosh. Oh, and my VA also helps me with my I have these very detailed questionnaires for my couples that I send throughout the year for them, and she takes that information and puts it into these color coded cheat sheets that I bring with me on a wedding day to make sure I'm like super organized and have everything I need. So she also does those things. So there's a lot. There's a lot.
Wow. How many hours do you give towards your virtual assistant?
Oh, actually, good question. If you want, I can break down my actual 2024 numbers from last year of like how
Do it.
much I invested and how much time I saved.
Let's do it.
Okay. So let's see here. So, okay, 2024 last year, I had 18 weddings and 15 sessions, just so you guys have context of like the amount I was shooting.
Hmm.
Um, so my total time saved last year from editing was 439 hours, which alone is like, oh my God, like life changing. For culling, I saved 63 hours. For tasks for my VA, 167 hours. And so I'm going to break it down because I know it's like auditory podcasts and us photographers love visuals. Like, I want to see these numbers visually. So let me just
Yeah.
like break it down in a way that makes sense. So if the total, if I total all these hours together within a 6 month period, because I was shooting everything from in 6 month window or
Okay.
summer season, I saved each month 111 hours, which meant I saved 28 hours a week.
Wow.
28 hours a week. It's 3 full working days.
Yeah.
So that is
That,
the only way I have the spaciousness to have a second business, and also like have more family time, time for my well-being. So that's how much time I saved. And then my total invested was only $4,300 Canadian to
how
get
much?
4,300
You
Canadian.
only spent 4,000
Yeah.
in 6 months?
Yeah. And I made my revenue from those weddings and sessions was 131,000.
131,000.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. All right.
Yeah. It's like, Yeah. And something so funny, when I first started outsourcing, this was triple like my cost, and it was still more than worth it because it opened up me being able to more effectively market, double my
Mm,
business. Like it's just a no-brainer. And the way that I'm able to get it so affordable is because I've learned how to effectively hire really great quality candidates from the Philippines. So
mm,
essentially, what the benefit for us is it's just the conversion rate on the dollar. So
right.
there's, freelancers in the Philippines that love being a virtual assistant or like a photo editor, right? And they want to freelance just like we do, work from home, have make their own hours, all of that. And I get to just benefit with the conversion rate on the dollar. And the cool thing is, so minimum wage in the Philippines is, I believe, $1.30 US per hour.
Wow.
And just because I'm able to and I really want to like retain them and make them feel like they hit the jackpot with like a position and make them just super happy just because I can. Essentially, I teach my students they can literally pay them even $3, $4, $5 an hour, and they're already making 3 to 4 times more than minimum wage. So they've like essentially hit the jackpot. So, I think there's like a stigma of like, oh, hiring overseas. I think Nike really screwed it up back in the day when, like it's just like it's a fact that some companies and big companies have hired unethically overseas before, right? But I want you
Mm,
guys to know that these people are humans just like us. They're just in a different part of the world. They freelance and they get to say yes or no with who they work with. They get to agree yes or no to the rate. They apply for the job. So there's literally, it's a win win situation. And I've been hiring from the Philippines for the past 7 years now, and it's just amazing. Yeah.
is this something like your connections to the Philippines? Like, I don't know where to go, right? Like, you could look
Mhm.
this up on Google and find companies that outsource to the Philippines. But do you have like a deeper connection through that? Or like, do you find this out through your course? Like, where do I go, Sarah, to start outsourcing these different positions?
Yeah. So the only reason I'm very specific with the Philippines is because I think it was like 7 years ago now, I learned from one of my mentors outside of the photography industry that you can hire from the Philippines for such an affordable rate. And that blew my mind then because I was spending like $50 for a VA then. And I was like,
Right.
what? Wait, what? And I wasn't outsourcing as much because $50 an hour, I'm like, I'm not going to let go of much because I can't actually keep up. So this made so much sense for me. So I've stuck with the Philippines because then I can continue to like stay current and know like I don't want to get confused with different conversion rates on like different currencies from different countries. So I've always just like once I learned about that option, I've stuck with it.
Hmm.
And yeah, I can easily tell you like where I go to, post the job posting and find the VAs, which is and editors, which is it's called onlinejobs.ph.
Okay.
So I can easily tell you, yeah, go there and you can do that. But it's the without the step-by-step process of knowing like how to put together a really effective job posting, how to put really specific things in there so that when you get your applicants, you spot red flags really easily, how to then interview them. Like if you're going to go try to like figure it out step by step blindly, you're just going to first of all probably not do it because if we don't know how to do if we can't google it or like get the actual steps, it's like we won't do it because we have so many other things on our plates, right? So
Right.
don't have the time, but it would just take a really, really long time compared to like if you have the actual steps. Like my students go through
Hmm.
like the VA lesson in OMI, that's just one module, and they have someone in 2 weeks, within 2 weeks at that
Wow.
rate. And they can
Yeah.
already start, okay, I'm offloading 5 hours a week. Then they offload 10 hours a week. And it's like, it's game changer so fast.
This is great. I think, out of all the educators that I've talked to, when it comes to, helping your business grow, I
Mm.
think outsourcing is, I would say, one of the most important, especially for you to grow and to get to a place where you actually want to be in life, right? Like if we take a course on paid ads,
Mhm.
great. Now we have more weddings coming in, but you're still doing all
Yeah.
this work and you're booking more weddings and you're making more money, but you're sitting at the computer longer.
Yeah.
right? Outsourcing is actually giving the freedom that we all desire. Um,
Yeah. It's
and for a lot of people,
essentially like
yeah.
how we can literally work less and make more.
Hmm.
It's like when I first heard that, I'm like, how? But how? It sounds so counterintuitive, right? And before, like when I was spending more on outsourcing, people would be even more scared to like let go of, money on editing or something. But the cost has gone down by like, I've cut it down by 2/3. That now
Hmm.
essentially when I teach people, I'm like, you have no excuse. Like there is
Yeah.
no excuse for you to be able to spend, $5 an hour and get an hour back. You could be creating a post. You could be responding to an inquiry. Like you could be going, finally doing that workout that you've been procrastinating. And when we're more energized, we're more creative in our businesses, right? It's just a no brainer. And something I tell my students all the time is like, now that you know logically in your head that you can get your time back for $5 an hour and a quality support, you might not believe it yet because you haven't actually experienced it, but like trust someone who's had 9 years experience that it's possible, right? If you now know that, then you are choosing moving forward to pay yourself $5 an hour as you're sitting at the computer, because then you
Right.
are making that choice to sit there and do that. And again, forget about the tasks that you love. I want you to keep those. It's the tasks that are draining you, are taking you away from your family, are actually affecting your mental health. That is the stuff we need to let go of, to let in a lot more time and income abundance.
So awesome. So awesome. Well, I want to wrap up here. So where do we go if we don't know how to effectively outsource? If we don't really understand the systems that need to be put in place to make sure that outsourcing is effective? And I'm speaking for everybody else, not for myself, because I sure didn't go through this problem. I did. I did go through this problem. I've outsourced like 5 times and still haven't found an editor that I'm happy with. So
Yeah.
I'm eager to learn. I think there is a system. I know the three fingers are pointing back at me. So
I
where
love this.
where do we go to get freedom, Sarah? Where do we
Yeah.
go?
Okay. So, firstly, just because like I want you guys to just have a little, I don't want to overwhelm you. So like a nice like dipping your toe in the water is like a first step, would be great if you guys got my 3-hour post wedding workflow checklist. So essentially it's a step-by-step guide on what exactly I outsource when and how much time each part saves me. It's like a whole grid. It shows you like a table, shows you I outsource this at this time. This is how much time it saves me and all of that. So you can grab that at saramonika.com/workflow. And then I do open the doors to my outsourcing made easy program once a year. I've been running it for 6 years now. And you can get on the wait list at saramonika.com/freedom. And essentially, what outsourcing made easy is an actual step by step guide and program. It's like your fast track to knowing what to do when without feeling like you're just like, I don't know what to do next. Like at the end of every single lesson, which are super bite sized, it's like, okay, watch this 5-minute lesson and do this action item. At the end of
Mm,
this next lesson, watch this action item. I put in a lot of work and thought into actually making it digestible because I don't want to just, you log in and you click a video and it's a 1 hour talking head. I'm like, that will not create results for anyone.
yeah.
So I've really designed it as if it's like I'm holding your hand step by step and you literally copy and paste my smart outsourcing workflows into your business. You know how to do magnetic hiring. You have all of my templates of my job posts. You don't have to figure them out from scratch. My interview questions, everything. And then it also comes with a community. So we have a Facebook community, all the alumni is in there. So I don't know where else you can go to get like really high quality, focused outsourcing advice for photographers. So we have that community and group coaching calls. So yeah, if you guys want to get on the wait list, it's saramonika.com/freedom. And my name is spelt Sara, no H, and Monika with a K because I'm Polish. So got to be a little
Okay.
different there.
Well, I love it. Thank you so much for chatting with us today. I'm really excited. I've never heard of anybody teaching outsourcing, and just hearing your passion behind it has completely changed my perspective on the urgency that we all must have in order to grow our business. So I appreciate you again for hopping
Yeah,
on the
of
podcast.
course. Yeah. It boggles my mind because I've done I've like looked around and I actually also haven't found anyone teaching this. And it's such a prevalent issue that I'm like on a mission to change the paradigm that us as photographers, the the new normal is going to be us being supported, not running our businesses by ourselves because, a chef, a Michelin star chef can't become great if they would be the waitress, the server, the bartender, the sous chef. Like it would just not happen.
Sure.
So if we want to become great, um, this is the way. And it's also the way, like my deepest why around it is that if there is more peace within us, if we feel more abundant in our energy, in our income, because I grew up in a house where we lived paycheck to paycheck. There was so much stress and arguments around money that I was like, I will figure out a way to never be in this situation again. I know so many people are that my mission is to essentially help people become abundant in their income so that when they're abundant with time and income, there's more peace in the house, relationships are stronger, kids don't have to experience as much trauma. And then when there's more peace in every single household, that ripples into the world and there's more peace in the world. So I know
Wow.
it's such a deep why. I did a lot of work
That's
on this, but
that's
that's
huge.
why I am so passionate about sharing the message. So yeah.
Dang.
Thanks
Wow.
for having me on too.
I love it. I love it.
I also want to make sure people can connect with me on Instagram. So you can connect with me on Instagram, Sara Monika Photo. Again, Sara no H, Monika with a K, and my podcast, which is called the Shine and Thrive Photography Podcast. Yeah. I
Awesome.
appreciate you, Jimmy. Thank you for having me
Yeah,
on.
of course. It was my pleasure.